Hey y'all, welcome to the Charles Norman Show. Alright, so this show is really the last show of the season about the Eagles. All Eagles today. This is my State of the Eagles address. I'm just going to start it. Here we go. Let's start it off the way it is. The Eagles 2014 season was a huge disappointment. The Eagles started out 9-3 this year, and they only finished 10-6, which means they went 1-3 in the last 4 games, and they're missing the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs. 10-6 should be a good record to make the playoffs for most teams. 10-6 should be a good record. Oh, that's something that we fought hard for. But no, it's not something that the Eagles fought hard for this year. 10-6 is unacceptable. It does not show improvement. It just shows that they were consistent with last year. And actually, I think the Eagles, in some points, the Eagles did well, did better in certain aspects, and in other aspects, they did worse than they did last year. Chip Kelly's big thing was getting to 10-6. That's what his thing was this week. That's why he wanted to beat the Giants so much. Because if you see that he was 10-6 last year in his first year, and he was 10-6 this year, that means, well, to the average person, to the blinded fan, that would mean that Chip he didn't regress in his second year. But 10-6 doesn't mean that he didn't regress. I'm going to tell you why. Alright, I'm going to start with the positives about the Eagles 2014 season. The Eagles special teams unit was a huge plus. The whole thing was reborn. I'm going to tell you. Back when I say my Eagles heyday is like from 01 to 04. That's when they were winning good, like in the conference championship, and then they went to the Super Bowl. They didn't win one. They in the conference championship back then, and John Harbaugh was our special teams coach. Our special teams was on fire. I mean, we used to get kick returns left and right, punt returns left and right. But now, since like lately, this year we got our first kick return in week 3. That was the first time the Eagles got a kick return for a touchdown open since 2008 against the Baltimore Ravens down there in Baltimore, the game that Donovan McNabb got benched in. So Dave Fitt, he deserves Special Teams Coach of the Year because the special team, the punt coverage was amazing. I mean, even on Sunday's game, the team got a punt block. There were 10 special team return touchdowns this year, from punt blocks, punt returns, and kickoff and kick returns. That's amazing. That's some good special teams right there. Special teams is there to help the offense and the defense. I call that getting the extra point. Like, not extra points, but like the gimme points, because your guys don't even have to go out for you to get those points. It's just your special teams guys. They take care of their job, and that's what they did for the most part this year. Jeremy Maclin showed some real promise this year. I think he's the reason why Chip Kelly let go of Deshaun Jackson. And we're going to talk a little bit about Deshaun Jackson in a minute, even though it's not on the itinerary for the show. But I do have a couple of things to say about him. I mean, Maclin finished the whole season. He did not miss one game. And I think he came a couple of catches short from Brian Westbrook's receptions in the season record, which was 90. So I think he did really good. He showed that he can last the whole season. Hopefully he will do this next year. Hopefully we will re-sign him. Our front seven was, like I said, it was really inconsistent at times, but they showed flashes of greatness, because there were some games where they get 8 sacks. One game, I think 9 sacks, 5 sacks, 4 sacks. But there were other games when they wouldn't get any sacks and the pressure wasn't there. But they were good with pressure. So that was a good thing. And they were good with containing quarterbacks for the most part. Fletcher Cox and Michael Kendricks, they proved to be the future of our defense. Fletcher Cox is a monster. He is a true beast monster on that defensive front. I just can't even believe how great he is. And Michael Kendricks, he's fast. He's the speed that we need at linebacker. Sean McCoy showed us that he can still run the ball effectively. What I want to see LaShawn McCoy do is take the hole. Don't second guess yourself. If the hole is open, go straight to it. Stop all that dancing. This is not Dancing with the Stars. You don't gotta dance. That's all that's what he does all the time. Dancing, just like run forward. You can get the positive yards. Alright, now I gotta be the Grinch, and I'm gonna go on to the negatives. There were way more negatives this season than there were positives. Um, we'll just say it straight up: the secondary cost us this season. Billy Davis' failure to adjust to the in-game situation also hurt us. Same with Chip Kelly. He was outcoached the last, I say, 3 out of 4 games. That's not good. That's not good at all. Also, the injuries hurt us a great deal this season. I mean, going back to the beginning of the season, while we did have Nick Foles, we didn't have the same offensive line. I think Nick Foles played with the same offensive line consecutively probably one time this year. That's not good. You can't get in the groove like that. Mark Sanchez proved to the Eagles and to all those Eagles fans who are haters on Nick Foles that the Eagles needed Nick Foles this year because Mark Sanchez is not the guy. He shouldn't have been in the game. I wish Nick Foles wasn't hurt because I think things would have been a little bit different. Not saying it would have been a whole big dramatic difference, but it would have been a lot different. A little bit different. Turnovers hurt us. I mean, and it was reckless decision making by both quarterbacks, Mark Sanchez and Nick Foles. Mark Sanchez wound up throwing 13 picks to Nick Foles 10. But the thing about the differences is when you look at that, even though Nick Foles threw 10 interceptions, Nick Foles was 6-2 as a starter this year. Mark Sanchez finished 4-4. 4-4. They both played 8 games. Sanchez finished 4-4. So even though Foles was turning the ball over, he was winning. And winning is the best makeup. I'm telling you, it's the best makeup. Our third down and red zone touchdown efficiency was unacceptable. We did not get enough touchdowns in the red zone. We kicked field goals. Field goals do not win you games. And on third down, I mean, I feel like this hurry-up offense, we had a couple too many 3-and-outs this year, and that's unacceptable. The defense, that's probably what hurt our defense too, being so tired. They were always on the field. There were a couple of games this year, back-to-back. The Seahawks had the ball for 40-plus minutes, and the Cowboys had the ball for 40-plus minutes. Like, how do you let that happen, offense? And you're not scoring. I mean, we needed to score more. The offensive play calling, we're going to get back to this a little bit later on, wasn't balanced enough, and therefore the Eagles, they couldn't get in the groove with the offense. The Eagles also didn't stick with their offensive identity. They weren't fast enough. There's no reason why usually Chip's offense, we were snapping the ball with about 20 seconds left on the play clock. There were games this year when it was like 5, 4, 3 seconds on the play clock. We took couple more delayed game penalties this year than we did last year. We didn't have to worry about that because we were always snapping the ball like that. And that's what we should have been doing all year. Don't give other team time to adjust. Make them tired so it'll be easier for us. That's what we did last year, and that's what helped us. The defense gave up way too many big plays, and the offense didn't produce enough big plays. I don't think the players were prepared and motivated that much this year either. There were games where, especially the Dallas game, I mean, you're going up against one of the league's best receivers. Why is it that Bradley Fletcher, he isn't even trying to locate the ball when the ball's coming to him? Like, they're going to throw it to you because you've already been scored on once. Then you were scored on again. So you got to pay attention to that. There was one play in the game where they left him completely wide open by himself. There was nobody 20 yards around him. Like, what was that? How did that even happen? The team wasn't disciplined at all. I mean, we had 2 games this year when we had like over 10 penalties for about over 100 yards. How do you give up? Like, that's 2 football fields worth of penalties. Think about it. That has to change. The team has to get more discipline. Like I said, the D-backs, the cornerbacks, they failed to locate the ball. Like, if the ball, they would be running after the receiver and the ball's in the air. They don't even look behind them. Like, look behind you. How can you play not locating the ball while it's in the air? Come on. A lot of those plays could have been stopped, but, they didn't locate the ball. And that's where we messed up a lot at. And the team failed to contend with tennis. Looking back at the Cardinals game, we should have won. Seahawks game, we could have won that Seahawks game. The second Dallas game. That's 3 games that we should have won. The 49ers, even though the 49ers finished 8-8, we finished with a better record than them. They were a contender at one point, and we didn't beat them. Green Bay, they just beat the hell out of us. Like, they beat the hell out of us, and there was nothing we could do about it. The offense never really got into a groove, and I want to take you back to 2013 when the pass run ratio was 30 passes and 34 runs, and then this year it was 40 passes and 28 runs. I cannot stress to you guys enough, actually I can, how important this was to the turnovers by our quarterbacks. The quarterback is back there passing the ball over 40 times, and we only run it 28 times. Let's put more pressure on the quarterback, and Chip has to know that. But I feel like he didn't know. He was really like Andy Reid this year, and it was really annoying. That there's a change that has to be made there because, you know what? I'll use a perfect example. Tony Romo threw 34 touchdowns and 9 interceptions this year, and the Cowboys were completely balanced. They averaged about, I think it was like 30 runs and 30 passes a game, or 31 runs and 30 passes a game. That's balanced. That's why they're doing so well. That's why they won the NFC East. That's why they have a chance to contend for a Super Bowl this year, and we don't. We're sitting at home because we weren't balanced enough on offense. The defense, yes, I say the secondary cost us this season, but the offense really hurt us too. Chip Kelly's play calling abilities hurt us this year too. So, where do we go from here? This is wishful thinking, because I know it's not going to happen, but I just have to put it out there. Rex Ryan was fired yesterday. Why don't we fire Billy Davis? And if you can, get Rex Ryan. Or if Rob Ryan is fired, you get Rob Ryan. I say you let Nate Allen and Bradley Fletcher walk. Get them out of here. They don't need to be here. They did nothing but hurt this team. This team didn't need to be hurt like the way they hurt us. Release Kerry Williams, that'll free up some cap space, and you got to work with that $15 million in cap space that you already have. Be big players in free agency. I know Chip doesn't like to build through free agency, but you got to. You got to get yourself a proven name out there. I mean, a proven player for that secondary, or two. And then you can also build through the draft. You know, you build through draft and free agency. I'm sorry. That's what you got to do. Yeah, I said release Kerry Williams. And you got to restructure LaShawn McCoy, D'Amico Ryans, James Casey, and Trent Cole's contracts to give us more cap space. I think if we did that, that'll take us to. If we were structured the right way, we can be over $25 million in cap space. That'll create more cap space for us, which means we could do more things in free agency. And then we also be able to give Jeremy Maclin and Brandon Graham their big deals. I'm saying go after secondary help again. And this can be wishful thinking. And remember, this is no longer negative comments. This is where do we go on from here, and how do we make changes. I say you go after Darrelle Revis. If the Patriots don't pick up his option, they probably will. That's wishful thinking. And we'll go down to realistic thinking. You can pick up Devin McCourty. Him and Malcolm Jenkins back there would be great, nice safety tandem for us. And then you pick up Byron Maxwell maybe, and then you got yourself one good corner out there. And then you have another one. I say you for the making those moves will help the secondary. And then I say you promote maybe Brandon Boykin, Nolan Carroll, or Jalen Watkins up into that number one corner position. I say try it out with Brandon Boykin first. If that don't work, then try it out with Jalen Watkins or Nolan Carroll. And this year, and we'll have a draft special when it comes. I want y'all to build through the draft. Build the defense through the draft. We don't need no offensive picks. Actually, gonna get an offensive tackle to eventually replace Jason Peters. That's what you do. And then you got to use the picks on people that will play. Don't use them on Marcus Smith. A Marcus Smith player who didn't really play this year, which I thought he should have played. You should have kept him at his natural position, but you didn't. Get healthy. Get healthy. Work hard throughout the off season. And again, I know I said this and I know it's not going to happen, but really push hard to get Rex Ryan here to be our defensive coordinator. Chip Kelly has said that he liked what Billy Davis did, and he thinks Billy Davis should be the defensive coordinator. He's going to move forward with Billy Davis. And this is my thing. I've given Billy Davis a lot of heck on this show, but it's not all about Billy Davis. Billy Davis wasn't out there playing on that field, but Billy Davis could have made adjustments to put the safeties back against Dez Bryant, and that's the game that killed this season. So, you know what? It's not all on Billy Davis, but a lot of it is. Alright, that's our State of the Eagles. I pointed out what they did wrong, pointed out what they did well, and I gave them what they can do to change and come back to the playoffs next year. Just so you all know, I think the Eagles, their window for the championship is really closing. I don't think Chip is going to stay around for that long. Him and Howie Roseman got something going on. If I was the Eagles, I'd fire Howie Roseman and put Tom Gable up in his position. Or Gamble. Gable or Gamble. I think it's Gamble. Up in his position and have him be the GM. So Tom Gamble is a very good executive. Do that. Let him draft the players, not Chip. Let Tom draft the players, and we'll be okay. All right, I'll see y'all later, everybody. This is show 2 of 5 this week. The next one is our big inspiration recap. We'll recap all the inspirations that we had so far this year. And then we'll have a New Year's special on Thursday. And then Friday, our regular wild card playoff preview, and I'll pick my games, and then we'll have our hot topics and recap on Monday's inspiration. All right, see you later.